Hi scholars, welcome to our next lesson on Native Americans. So before we begin today's lesson, I just want to review what we've learned so far. So we know that we've learned about three distinctive Native American tribes and how they lived a long time ago. We learned about the Lakota Sioux, the Wampanoag, and the Lenape tribes. And based on where they lived, they wore different clothing, they ate different things, and they lived in different houses. The Lakota Sioux lived in the Great Plains, which was a flat land covered in grass. The buffalo was very important to them, so they moved around the Great Plains following the buffalo. That's where they got all their food, how they made a lot of their clothing and tools. And because the Lakota Sioux tribe moved around a lot, they had to have a home that was easy to put up and pack up. So they lived in teepees. Then we learned about the Wampanoag tribe, and they lived in the northeastern part of the United States near the coast or the water. So since they lived near the water, they ate a lot of seafood, fish, clams, lobsters. They would also have corn or potatoes as a big part of their um, diet or what they ate. They did move around a lot like the Lakota Sioux tribe, so they lived in huts called weetus, and they would use the trees and the bark to create those houses. Next, we learned about the Lenape tribe, and again, they also lived in the northeastern part of the United States, but they were a little bit deeper into the land, more in the forest, so they ate a lot of deer, elk, like woodland creatures. They would use like bear fur to make clothing for the winter, and they were big farmers. So they ate pumpkins and gourds and different things like that. They didn't move around like the Lakota Sioux as well, but they had a different home than the Wampanoag. They lived in wigwams, or those big long houses made out of sticks. So those were how those three Native American tribes lived, but there are many, many more tribes that we didn't get a chance to discuss. But that was about how those tribes lived long ago. Today, in our last lesson, we're going to focus on how Native Americans live today in our time in the United States. So let's get started with our lesson. Anishinaabe, Mohawk, Gashute, Cree, Dakota, Choctaw, Hopi, Weha, Iroquois, Mimac, Crow, Wampanoag, Cheyenne, Blackfeet, and Sioux. All these and many other Native American tribes spread out across the United States thousands of years ago. They are still here today. Long ago, these Native Americans hunted, farmed, and fished for their food, shelter, and clothing. Rabbits, turkeys, and squirrels dotted the forest. Buffalo, elk, and deer roamed freely about the land. Fish, clams, and whales filled the oceans, rivers, and streams. From the open plains to the forested woodlands to the coastal waters, Native Americans taught themselves how to live in harmony with nature. They were hunters and farmers and fishermen. Today, some Native American tribes still hunt and farm and fish, but the North American continent looks vastly different now, and they no longer just live entirely off the land. Today, many of the forests have disappeared, highways have replaced the buffalo across the open plains, and many rivers and streams no longer have great numbers of swimming fish in them. So, how do Native Americans live today? What do they eat? Where do they sleep? What do they wear? What do you think? Native Americans today still eat corn, squash, fish, and meat, just as they did, just as they have always done. But they buy it in supermarkets. Native Americans today may use pueblos, teepees, weetus, and hogans from time to time, but most sleep in houses, apartments, and mobile homes as their main homes. Native Americans today no longer wear fringed leggings and deerskin moccasins. They wear jeans and sneakers and other clothing worn by other Americans. Many Native Americans still remember their tribal traditions of long ago. The Wampanoag have clam bakes along the coast of Massachusetts today, just like the Wampanoag, Bear, Gull, and Crow attended. The Lakota Sioux have elaborate ceremonies of dancing, drumming, and singing on the plains of the North and South Dakota. The Lenape still pass down their stories to their children and grandchildren and still hold their traditional ceremonies. Powwows or gatherings of Native American tribes are held all across the United States today. At these powwows, the people often dress in Native American cloths trimmed with beads, feathers, shells, and bones. It is there that Native Americans honor the past and tell family stories. Pensacola, Navajo, Cherokee, Taos, Shinnecock, Kaw, Walla, Zuni, Eti. These are just a few of the many, many Native American tribes living in the United States today. They were the first known people here, and for many years, they were the only people here. Today, they share our land with people from all over the world.